Now, time for us to take a look at the papers today and bring you the headlines there. And we got right here in the house to help us analyze the emerging issues. Public affairs analyst in the person of Charles Ideho. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This your shiny hair.
Yeah, you said I've gained weight.
Yes.
And I told you to thank the Lord.
Look at the robust cheeks, you know.
And you actually look very amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
And I miss this set. It's fast becoming a home to me.
Yeah, I miss you too.
But I'm here now.
Yeah, I'm very happy
Yes.
I didn't pronounce your name wrong.
No, but don't leave it because I know you must have been doing some tutorial. I know.
You're welcome.
Right,
Thank you for having me back. Yes.
All right, now let's raise the curtain with The Guardian. We got Nigerians lose 300 billion naira to Ponzi schemes, speculative trade. With riders there to commit suicide as operators task federal government on national development. Any unregistered investment scheme is illegal, says SEC. Founders on the run as EFCC arrests 10 operators. Experts list measures to safeguard Nigerians against fallen victim. Now, Southeast residents defy governors, observe, sit at home. With riders, sit at home continues today to commemorate Nnamdi Kanu's home invasion. Gunmen invade Imo school, chase away students writing WAEC exams. And Obiano leads protest against IPOB, visits markets, banks. Let me stop there.
Now to the Daily Sun, the 2023 presidency, Igbo elders threaten those working against the zone's interests, and the riders are saying they demand law against open grazing from Uzodinma Umahi and others. The screaming headline says, gunmen kill soldiers, 12 in Kogi, Kaduna, free 240 prisoners. Interpol has been put on notice, says the federal government. That's the rider, and more details on page 4 and page 8. Moving further, Apex Court ruling won't stop implementation of VAT law in Lagos, coming from a lawmaker. The writer saying Ebonyi governor backs federal government on VAT. And by the side of the paper says federal government approves over 200% hike in ground handling charges on airlines. Genocide, kidnapping, Nina's fakes protests to United Nations. Kidnapping in Nigeria rises by 169% in 2 years, says United States agency. Finally, Southeast losing 10 billion naira every Monday to sit at home, coming from Umahi. And the writers are saying hoodlums chase SSC students out of exam hall in Imo State. Page 7 has the story.
Next, we've got the Daily Trusts. How communication failure caused deadly attack on troops in Zamfara. Bandits kill 9 Navy, soldier, and 2 policemen. Telecom suspension costly. Has no NSA clearance. Source. Criminals bypass communication ban. Army chief to commanders. I won't take any excuse from you again. Terrorists, bandits freed in Kogi jailbreak. Tales of agony as Yauri students clock 90 days in captivity. 32 APC chieftains jostle for sacked power minister's seats. Finally, from the very base of the paper, NNPC, all allegations of manipulation take shine off historic profits.
And now to the bunch, from the top to the bottom. The top says non-oil experts. The federal government suffers 5.8 trillion naira revenue shortfall. And on to the VAT judgment, FIRS may lose 92 billion naira revenue to state. Another strike looms, ASU warns. NAD wants Buhari to lead talks. Falana heads legal team. Moving on to the top story for the day, says military onslaught in Zamfara. Dislodged bandits flee southwards. Gunmen strike in Kogi, Kaduna, and Ekiti. 4 dead, 166 houses destroyed in Abuja estate floods. And that's all we'll take for the punch. Now, moving back to you, Charles.
Okay.
For a while, it's been the VAT, the VATs for some states are like Lagos and River State, some other states backing them like Edo, Ondo. They're saying they want to have their own want to be able to access the value-added taxes for their state. And this one saying from the Daily Sun saying Apex Court ruling won't stop implementation of VAT law in Lagos, coming from a lawmaker. And then one of the stories here saying the FIRS may lose 92 billion naira revenue to states, that if the state starts having access to the VAT. So what's your take on that?
First, let me say something about Lagos State. Lagos State's insistence to, excuse me, to start implementing that, it will be in contravention of that, the ruling of the appeal court. Even the lawmaker who said so, that Lagos State could do that, may not have seen that judgment. I have seen that judgment. I read it, and the appeal court expressly stated that all parties must refrain from acting upon the judgment of the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt, which is, of course, what they call the status quo. The status quo, by definition of that judgment, means that neither the FRS standing as an agent of federal government, nor states, in the case of Rivers State or Lagos State or any other state, they should all hold their breath, in the manner of speaking, because they especially said that all of them must refrain. The language is refrain from acting upon the judgment of the Federal High Court that gave power to the Rivers State government, and then in a very large extent to other states to follow suit. So Lagos State, for me, should really be very careful for now, so that what is coming to us is supposed to be applaudable, because it's like we are beginning to implement restructuring by default. Okay, so everybody be clamoring for restructuring, where states can decide what they do with whatever they get in the belly of the soil in their states, and then they pay certain to the federal government. But this one, the issue of the VAT has already been spelled out. Federal government, you're collecting about 35, so suppose now there's one for the state and there's one for the local government. So right now, federal government is supposed to be collecting the one that is gotten from Lagos State. Lagos State retains, but there's a portion that it has to give to the federal government, which of course is part of the principle of federalism. But I know this case will definitely go to the Apex Court. So eventually. And thankfully, I think what they are doing is they are having expedited action, expedited hearing. Not quite 2 weeks when that case was heard in Port Harcourt and the judgment came from the Federal High Court. Then the appeal court also sat Friday or Thursday last week, where they granted it accelerated hearing. So they fixed. Lagos State also said they wanted to be joined in the case. They wanted to be joined. They want to join in the suit, so that they also be a co-defendant with Rivers State on behalf of other states and so on. But before the ruling came, it wasn't granted. So, but that's why they are saying that for now, the appeal that FRS filed at the appellate court and the ruling that was given is for Rivers State, not for Lagos State. But that's not true. The true picture is that the appeal court has said all parties, and all parties means all parties, must refrain from acting upon the judgment of the Federal High Court in Rivers State. So Lagos State is also included in that ruling.
Well, now, how would you justify a situation where about 6 states of the 36 states of the Federation contribute around 80% of this very stuff we're talking about, and now it is being shared or distributed among the 36 states. Even some states, for whatever reason, could get more than the state that sourced the major. Do you understand? Yes. How is there any justification?
Well, there is. I think it's that's one of the injustices that some of us have been crying foul about. That that's no way to run federalism. We are called the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Federal. Now, federal means federal, where you have federating units. Yes. It's not a central government or a unitary system we are running, where all states are supposed to have what the Americans call quasi autonomy. Okay. What it means is that you're supposed to have a guided autonomy, meaning that you are within the federation, but you are not totally independent. All right. So you have other federating states right now. You have the state have been the nation have been organized into about 36 states and the federal capital, right?
Yeah.
Now, all these states were supposed to have something within them, and then when you tax the companies that are, because it's income tax, or it's income tax, consumption and income tax, mainly. You're supposed to render same to the federation account from where, after they have pulled all the resources together, they now begin to share to states according to their contribution.
Yeah.
But it is highly skewed against states like River State. I think River State River State contribute about 12 billion. I don't have the figure now.
Okay.
But let me just use an analogy. Using that as an analogy, we are contributing about 12 billion. Then you're getting 4 billion in return, right? Then the federal government will now take 8, and then share and all that. Then Kano State puts in about 2 billion, and gets 2 billion.
Can you imagine?
Lagos State gets sent higher to the federal government and gets lower.
Less.
Now, Kano State, for instance, as we speak, because of the Sharia penal code they have, the code forbids alcoholic beverages, the intake of alcoholic beverages, or even the production of it.
Saying, yeah.
Okay. Now, this same state says they will not have any alcoholic beverages produced within their domain and even consumed.
Yeah.
It's against the Sharia law.
Yes.
Good. Now, in Lagos State, most of these things come from even the same alcoholic beverage. Then you forbid the product, but you accept the proceed.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense at all. If you forbid the product, you must forbid the proceed, because it is the product that gives birth to the proceed. So indirectly, on the one hand, you say you don't want it, but you don't want to drink it, you don't want to produce it, but what comes of it you are consuming
and enjoying.
It doesn't make any sense. So that's why it is also absolutely important for us to begin to test these laws. And I have been told by a lawyer that even the issue of this issue of FIRS collecting, even it's not even in the Constitution. So they have been operating outside the Constitution. But it is the states that have the power to even collect this income tax and all this sales tax, which of course amount to, it used to be about 5%, and now about 7.5%.
7.5%, yeah.
So I think what I say, let's look at how the courts will help us to bring these laws to bear.
And you think it won't, the outcome won't be manipulated?
I wouldn't know, because we're not even supposed to be discussing it because it's sub judice, since the case is in the court. But we're journalists, we need to also look at some of these things, the merits and the demerits and all that. That's why we're discussing this. So all we need to look at is that, I think the men and women who are on the bench, they are also human. They are not above board, but they're supposed to be above board. They're not above board. So let's hope that sentiment and attachment to religion, attachment to regions will not affect the true picture of the judgment they might give. Which, of course, I hope that state should emerge as the true
will have the upper hand.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charles Ideho.
Yeah, that's right.